Welcome to Negocios with BISILA BOKOKO, or Business with BISILA BOKOKO. It doesn't matter if we said in English or in Spanish. I'm very happy to hear with me today Sande Chen, and we're going to speak about the gaming industry, but she target this from a completely different perspective. And this is one we're going to talk today about. So welcome, Sande.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me a little bit about your background.
I'm a writer and game designer, and I went to MIT in economics and writing. I had a double major. I followed my two majors. I went to London School of Economics for the economics masters, and then I went to film school at University of Southern California to pursue a degree in cinematic arts. And It was through USC that I discovered that there was this whole field of game development that had never thought about, and never would have thought that I would be working in this field.
That's so interesting. So when you were a little kid, did you play video games already? You were passionate about it?
I did. I actually would write my own video games that were more like interactive stories, and I would program them on the computer. But you know, like most girls of my age, when I got to high school, I didn't think about it anymore. I just thought those were things that boys did, and computer science, people were better at it than me. So I didn't think about it really, that it would be a field that I would be going into.
What you were thinking to be before, because your background is really filming, economics. So what you were expecting when you make this investment of time in this education?
I was hoping to become a lawyer, or if not a lawyer, to be involved in the government in some kind of public policy. I'm still quite passionate about social impact, and that has a lot of what I do as a serious games consultant is to help people try to make products that can help the society and help the environment and help people in many different ways. So it still impacts what I do.
Yes. Can you tell us a little bit summary of the book that you wrote, you just write, and in a few sentences, and also the title, because I love it.
Sure. So it was written quite a long time ago. It was one of the first books written on serious games, and the title is Serious Games, Games That Educate, Train, and Inform. And this book is all about games and game technology that is being used outside of entertainment in fields such as medicine and corporate life, or the government or military, or even in education or art games, to pursue either their own goals of just training or education or informing, or even to express yourself as an artist.
Wonderful. So what you will say that are the biggest challenges that you have to face being a woman in a very male-dominated field?
Well, it's been in the news recently about the work environment, and I definitely have been in companies where I was the only woman there, and I felt like the ladies' room was my refuge from all the testosterone that was being thrown about the workplace. But actually, I think that throughout the years, it has improved in terms of there is more women working in game development, but still a lot of women feel that they need to prove themselves and feel like, you know, they're just like one of the guys and they can handle everything. So my advice for women entering a male-dominated industry is to remember your worth, that you're there because you made it and you had the qualifications to be there, and you can do a great job.
This is such a great advice, and I hope that a lot of women really take this into account. They are there because they deserve to be there.
Right.
And can you just share with us why the gaming industry is growing so rapidly? And I mean, how long have you been in the industry also to compare? And if you could share with us some numbers, would be wonderful.
Okay, well, I don't know if I have exact numbers, but I have been in the industry for about 20 years. My first contract was on a game that came out in 2000, and it won in the Independent Games Festival. And since then, the gaming landscape has totally changed. But at that time, maybe people were playing on PC and consoles, but now we see like so many people playing on mobile phones and Facebook or social media and downloading them. And they began to recognize that women are a major force in terms of playing these mobile games and casual games. And before they had not thought about it. The gaming industry now surpasses the film industry, especially if you think about the hardware that is being sold, to accompany all the games. But the distribution channels are now so much easier. You can download your games instead of having to make physical copies and distribute them to computer stores everywhere. It's easier than ever to make your own games and try to sell them on the app stores or to have them downloadable from your own websites. So it's definitely more accessible for younger students, even as young as 12 years old, to try to sell their own products. But I think that that's been one of the major movements, is that they are recognizing that there are women players out there. And I know it's a stereotype that, that it's all boys that are playing video games, but there are definitely a lot of hardcore women players who play games that are not necessarily shooting types. Animal Crossing is very popular. Or it's not like a kid game like Pokemon, even though Pokemon Go was very popular, even among a variety of games and game players out there. And the market has just grown and grown because of that.
Wonderful. And what is needed to become a game developer and a game writer? And if it's I believe it's not the same thing, but you do both.
Oh, no. Well, I'm a game designer and I'm a game writer as well. As a developer, you might be thinking about programming and coding. As a writer, we're thinking about the interactivity of medium and how do we make this unique from reading a book or watching a film. The background that I have is in cinema, though a lot of people come from journalism or theater arts. I think in the old days, there was no degrees for game design or game writing, but these days there are many programs that will give you a degree in game design or interactive media. And I even heard that this is one of the 21st century skills, to learn how to think like a game designer, which is about systems design, thinking about the world as a system. And we do this in economics as well. Like we think about what affects something else and this happens and that happens, and that this is a very important skill for our children to learn about and to look at the world.
Yeah. What is your favorite game?
I have a lot of favorite games, I would say. But right now, I am not playing as many as I would, because as a game developer, you're working on the same game over and over, and it's often a broken game that you need to fix. But in the past, I have been obsessed about Candy Crush and went to so many levels without buying anything. These days, I'm looking at a lot of pre-K applications because I have a little girl.
Yes.
And so things that I would rave about is Dragon Box Big Numbers, which is for addition and subtraction. And they have the same kind of game design as in some of the more addictive games out there. And so I played it right through, even though it is for ages 3 to 5. And I like an application called Mini Math because as an expert in educational design, I believe that we should be playing these applications with our children rather than having them watch it or having them play by themselves. We can explain what's going on. And Mini Math, this application, they take videos from social media and then they have a little bit of math exercises after, and it's called Bedtime Mini Math. So instead of a bedtime story, you can have a bedtime math problem. And it has been seen that children who do this every night, they're less scared about algebra and math when they go to school because they've seen it every night.
Oh, that's an amazing point. Wonderful. And tell us, what are you working on right now? What is the projects that you're taking?
Well, right now I'm working on an educational application as a contractor where I'm helping to flesh out the world and what the player will be doing. And it is a math teaching application, and it's going to be used in their elementary schools in that country. So
Wow.
they've just launched and it's in beta and their kids playing it. And I'm happy to be a part of that.
It's awesome. Where do you see, to wrap up, the gaming industry going moving forward?
You know, there is a lot of exciting things happening in virtual reality and augmented reality. Right now, I don't think everyone has these devices, but in the future, I can see that maybe in medical school, we'll have more of these VR kinds of devices, especially in terms of patient care or surgery simulators. I can see them being used in museums. We're seeing a little bit in the schools and education. But also in entertainment, I think that as more people buy VR devices and they solve some of the issues of, you know, people getting headaches or feeling dizzy, that we'll see more and more games actually being made for VR.
Wonderful. Sande, it's so great to speak with you. And I think that you're doing an amazing job and just bringing the kids and the new systems of education to technology, which I believe that is the new education of the 21st century. So that's wonderful. Thank you for spending this time with us.
Thank you very much.